for me, I think some of it's around like rejection, like what if somebody doesn't want to listen to what I've got to say? What if I'm shamed or run out of wherever I am? It's all like irrational, I'm sure, but like, they're there. So panel, while we're seeing it go off in the chat, because it is, you guys
they're coming in thick and fast now. Wow, look out. Okay, I'm just going to read them out. People may not feel he's good news. There's a fear of rejection, a fear in a secular world, a violent church history that people I know are struggling with and find as a barrier to faith. So the history and some of the hard stuff that's gone on. It feels arrogant to say Jesus is the only way in a pluralistic society, multiple past failures. It's hard to get the courage up to do it again. Being seen as a Bible basher and actually becoming a hindrance to the gospel, misconceptions of the church, doubt that anyone will actually come to believe in Jesus. I mean, it goes on and on. They keep on coming in. I can't keep up. So we'll just have a read in the chat.
Fear of closing doors to relationships, like people like cutting off relationships. People won't like you. Yeah.
Lots of barriers. What do you guys reckon, panel? Any kind of main ones, maybe for yourself or ones that you've seen in others that you kind of identify with? Okay. What about you, Matua Howard?
I think a lot of that too is familiarity. When I was sent back to my people, it was quoted a couple of weeks ago, Luke chapter 4, I think it was, there was a quotation that was made about the prophet not being honored in his own homeland. I went through that journey when I went back to my own homeland, and you can sometimes, there's that fear there because people know your background. But you know what? The more you get up and you minister and people see the transition in your life, the transformation in your life, the change from the person you used to be, it actually opens a lot of doors. I think when you've walked through the fire, people can understand your language. There's a language there that you can speak with the people.
A bit of a curly one because of the context that Howard and I find ourselves in here in Aotearoa. History. History is a huge barrier for Maori people. It's actually finding a way forward rather than blaming, rather than staying stuck. And that is a barrier. It's a barrier we've had for a very long time. But yeah, history for Maori people anyway, with being colonised and all of the hurts that have come through the generations and still affect our people today. So it's in some way caused our people's hearts to be hardened toward the gospel, because he could be seen as a white God, and that's not the case. That's not the case. And so how do we share this effectively with such a huge barrier for most? I mean, you heard Howard speak about him preaching on the marae. Most of the marae where Howard comes from have a different faith to Christianity, and so there are huge barriers for us as evangelists. So please pray for us. But kia ora. That's what I'm offering.